Picture this, the 16th century, a time when the world was as ripe for discovery as a plump orange waiting to be peeled. A Spanish conquistador named Baltasar was wandering the Andes, ostensibly in search of glory and gold. In reality, he was more lost than a needle in a haystack. He'd already misread his map thrice, mistaking a drawing of a llama for a mountain more than once. On a particularly misty morning after having accidentally eaten some hallucinogenic berries, Baltasar and his equally lost crew stumbled upon something extraordinary. It was a city, but not just any city. A city perched among the clouds, its stony terraces clinging to the mountainside like a lizard to a rock, Machu Picchu. Though Baltasar, of course, had no idea what it was called. "By the beard of St. James!" Baltasar exclaimed, his eyes wide as saucers. His men, weary and grumbling about their lack of rations, looked up and were momentarily struck dumb by the sight. They were expecting gold, maybe a nice scenic river, not a whole city in the clouds. Baltasar, squinting at the city, scratched his head. Is it a mirage? An enchantment? He wondered aloud, still feeling the effects of those pesky berries. His second in command, a chap who'd followed Baltasar more out of amusement than loyalty, shrugged. If it's a mirage, it's a very solid one, sir. For hours, they explored the deserted city, tiptoeing around like cats in a doghouse. Baltasar was amazed at the precision of the stone structures, the grandeur of the setting. "We must be careful," he warned his men. "We may have stumbled into the realm of the gods." His men, however, were more concerned with finding something to eat than divine retribution. They poked around the terraces, half expecting a celestial snack bar, only to find more stones and a stunning view. As night fell and the city was bathed in moonlight, Baltasar sat down, his back against a cold stone wall. He was still utterly lost, but for the first time he felt a sense of awe, a feeling that he'd stumbled upon something greater than gold or glory. Little did he know that centuries later his accidental discovery would become the subject of heated debate among historians. Was Baltasar de Ocampo the original discoverer of Machu Picchu? Or was he just a lost conquistador who got lucky? As for Baltasar, in that moment under the starry sky, with his stomach rumbling and his crew snoring around him, he felt like he had uncovered a secret, a hidden piece of the world that was just waiting for a lost soul to find it. And in his heart, he couldn't help but feel a little bit proud even if he'd never admit it. Little did he know that this would be the first and last contact with the lost wonder of Machu Picchu for over 300 years. You see, one day, the site was mysteriously abandoned, and slowly, nature overtook the entire area, covering its majestic walls with trees and vines. Nature had erased Machu Picchu from history and would enter the realm of myth. That was until two Germans named Augusto Burns and J.M. von Hassel probably rediscovered the site in the late 1800s. And what did they do? Did they tell the world about this wonder? Did they excavate this site to see if they can find out about its origin or how it ended? Nope. They probably stole a bunch of artifacts and gold and left the place in much worse shape than they had found it. However, in the early 20th century, Hiram Bingham, a historian and explorer, set off on an expedition that would etch his name into the annals of discovery and stir up a bit of a historical kerfuffle. You see, Hiram, whose sense of adventure was as robust as his sense of direction was questionable, was on the hunt for the legendary lost city of the Incas. One fine day in 1911, after a journey that involved more wrong turns than a maze in a fun fair, Hiram found himself gazing upon the terraced ruins of Machu Picchu. Perched high in the Andes, shrouded in mist and mystery, the sight was so breathtakingly beautiful that Hiram momentarily forgot about his aching feet and the fact that his map was probably better suited for wrapping sandwiches. As he explored the silent stone ruins, Hiram was like a kid in a candy store, albeit a very old stone candy store. There were buildings clinging to the cliffs with a defiance of gravity, terraces carved with precision that would make a Swiss watchmaker weep, and llamas. So many llamas nonchalantly munching grass like they hadn't a care in the world. But with Machu Picchu came mysteries as plentiful as the llamas. There was the enigmatic Intihuatana stone, believed to be an ancient astronomical clock or calendar. Hiram pondered if the Incas used it to tell time or if it was merely an elaborate method to confuse future tourists. Then there was the Temple of the Sun with its expertly crafted windows perfectly aligning with the solstices. Was it a temple, an observatory, or perhaps the world's most scenic sunroom? The questions multiplied like rabbits in the spring. And of course, the greatest mystery of all, why was Machu Picchu built in such a remote, inaccessible location? Was it a royal retreat, a religious sanctuary, or an ancient witness protection program for Incas with too many enemies? Hiram's discovery, or rather his bringing to international attention of what many locals already knew, sparked a debate among historians and explorers. Some praised him as a pioneering explorer, others argued he was more lost than the city he found and merely stumbled upon it. But regardless of the debate, Hiram's discovery of Machu Picchu captured the world's imagination. It became a symbol of the mysterious Inca civilization, a tantalizing puzzle nestled in the clouds. As for Hiram, he left the site with more questions than answers, his mind buzzing. He may not have solved the riddles of this ancient city, but he certainly succeeded in making it one of the most talked about places in history. And over the last century or so, historians have both made leaps towards solving some of the ancient mysteries of this place, and also discovered more anomalies. In the 20th century, it became fairly apparent that Machu Picchu was built for Emperor Pachacuti, the first Incan emperor. And even though it was probably built as an estate for the emperor, the true reason as to why it was built remains unclear. Enter one of the most out-of-this-world theories, that aliens, yes, extraterrestrial beings, lent a hand or perhaps a tentacle in building Machu Picchu. And at the center of this interstellar construction project, Pachacuti's sun disk and a mysterious mirror. Now, Pachacuti, the great Incan emperor, was known for many things: his military prowess, his administrative skills, and if certain theories are to be believed, his intergalactic contacts. Legend speaks of a sun disk, a golden artifact of immense power and significance, purportedly capable of summoning the sun itself. Or, in a slightly more extraterrestrial twist, signaling alien allies. According to the theory, this wasn't just any DIY project. The aliens, presumably with a flair for stone masonry, used advanced technology, possibly involving Pachacuti's sun disk, and a mirror with otherworldly properties. This mirror wasn't for checking your reflection, oh no. It was allegedly a tool of immense power, perhaps a laser or an energy source, aiding in the precise cutting and placement of those massive stones. After all, why use simple Incan tools when you can have alien lasers? And even though there are many stories of the sun disk and mirror, those two artifacts are still yet to be discovered by archaeologists, we think. You see, there is also a theory that Spanish conquistadors found the sun disk in the 1500s and brought it back to Spain, where it is being hidden to the public. There's also a hypothesis that Machu Picchu, not merely to be a relic of a bygone civilization, but a portal to realms beyond our understanding. It's the kind of theory that makes one wonder if the Incas were more into interdimensional travel than weaving and sun worship. Proponents of this otherworldly idea point to the enigmatic nature of Machu Picchu's construction and location. Why build a city so remote, so precariously perched unless you were trying to, say, catch a ride through a cosmic wormhole? They speculate that certain areas in Machu Picchu, like the Intihuatana stone, known for its astronomical alignment, could be more than just an ancient calendar or ritual space. Perhaps, they muse, it's a dial for tuning into cosmic frequencies or a Stargate control panel awaiting the right celestial alignment to whisk the user off to distant galaxies. After all, when you're dealing with a civilization that managed to build a city in the clouds, the sky's not the limit. It's just the beginning. And lastly, another theory around Machu Picchu goes like this. With its sophisticated design and celestial alignments, Machu Picchu couldn't possibly just be a retreat for Incan nobility. No, such a grandiose and enigmatic place must be guarding something. Some say it's a treasure trove of gold hidden from greedy Spanish conquistadors, still waiting to be unearthed. But wait, say the skeptics, armed with facts and a lack of fanciful thinking. If there was treasure, wouldn't the Incas have taken it with them? They argue that Machu Picchu was more likely abandoned due to a smallpox outbreak or the Spanish conquest, not because the Incas were trying to hide their version of Fort Knox. As for ancient knowledge, they point out that the Incas had an oral tradition, not a written one. So unless these scrolls were etched in celestial stone or recorded in a series of complicated knots, that library might just be a figment of an overactive imagination. Despite this, the allure of hidden treasures and ancient secrets continues to captivate the hearts of conspiracy theorists and dreamers alike. They comb through every nook and cranny of Machu Picchu, hoping to find a hidden chamber or a secret passage that leads to, well, they'll figure that out when they find it. And even though these are the grander conspiracy theories, there are also some more theories about Machu Picchu that have much more of a scientific backing that are also quite interesting. One hypothesis is that Machu Picchu was a place of mass sacrifice to the gods. According to this theory, the Incas, being the diligent sun worshippers they were, didn't just build Machu Picchu as a getaway spot for their emperor. Oh no, they supposedly had grander, more macabre designs. The theory suggests that amidst the awe-inspiring stonework and breathtaking vistas, Machu Picchu played host to large-scale sacrifices, possibly even of the human variety, to appease these celestial beings. But why, you ask as you ponder the logistics of hauling sacrificial offerings up the Andes? Proponents of the theory point to various clues: the altars, the ceremonial spaces, and perhaps a few too many late nights reading sensationalized accounts of Incan practices. They imagine grand, somber ceremonies with the sun setting dramatically over the peaks, as the Incas engaged in rituals that would make even the most stoic llama raise an eyebrow. And lastly, another theory actually revolves around Incan ancient food. According to this theory, the Incas, known for their agricultural prowess, weren't just building a city, they were crafting an agricultural experiment station. The terraces? Not just for show or to prevent soil erosion, but sophisticated test plots for a variety of crops. The varying microclimates and altitudes of Machu Picchu provided the perfect setting for these green-thumbed geniuses to test, develop, and refine crops that could then be used to feed their vast empire. But why the secrecy, I hear you ask? Well, the proponents of this theory suggest that the Incas, being the smart cookies they were, knew they were onto something big. By hiding this knowledge high in the mountains, accessible only by foot and perhaps a very determined llama, they could maintain an edge over their rivals. And so, to this day, we still are unsure what the purpose of Machu Picchu was. Maybe it was built as a place for the emperor to live. Maybe it had ancient treasures. Or maybe aliens assisted in building this place to help Incas build a portal to another world. So it's up to you to decide. What do you think was the purpose of Machu Picchu? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you liked this video, I have a ton of other videos just like this on my playlist on this channel, so please click on my playlist. Anyways, make sure to click on that, and I will see you guys in my next video in just a few seconds.